Saya akan buktikan teori Thomas Malthus 1798. Malthus mengatakan bahwa percepatan produksi atau percepatan lonjakan penduduk manusia seperti deret ukur dan ketersediaan pangan seperti deret hitung. Apabila dua kurva itu bersinggungan, maka akan terjadi hal yang mengkhawatirkan. Jadi populasi manusia seperti deret ukur, ketersediaan pangan seperti deret hitung. Maka suatu saat apabila tidak kita manage pertumbuhan manusia dan ketersediaan pangan, bisa terjadi kanibalisasi nantinya. Saya akan membuktikan ini benar apa tidak teori Thomas Malthus. Saya coba teman saya Lawrence Smith dari Inggris yang mengatakan bahwa jumlah penduduk dunia pada tahun 1800 baru 1 miliar. Smith mengatakan seperti itu. Untuk menambah 1 miliar diperlukan waktu 130 tahun. Jadi dari 1 miliar menuju 2 miliar diperlukan waktu 130 tahun. Tetapi aneh bin ajaib, aneh sekali, dari 2 miliar untuk mencapai 3 miliar hanya diperlukan waktu 30 tahun. Jadi pada saat saya lahir jumlah penduduk 3 miliar. Kemudian selanjutnya hanya perlu 15 tahun, dan selanjutnya 12 tahun berturut-turut. Bayangkan, yang tadinya menambah 1 miliar perlu 130 tahun, sekarang cuma tinggal 12 tahun. Dan Smith mengatakan bahwa mulai tahun 2011 untuk menambah 1 miliar lagi hanya perlu waktu 6 tahun. Jadi pada tahun 2017, tahun depan, jumlah penduduk sudah 8 miliar. Selamat datang 8 miliar. Mungkin biasa saja jumlah penduduk, biarin saja tambah banyak, nggak ada masalah. Tetapi teori populasi mengatakan bahwa populasi dihadapkan dengan kapasitas bumi. Bumi kita itu hanya mampu mendukung hanya untuk 4 sampai 3 miliar untuk orang hidup normal. Hanya 3 sampai 4 miliar. Lalu wah Panglima ini ngarang-ngarang aja. Apa buktinya? Bahwa sekarang sudah overload, sudah 7 miliar, berarti sudah 4 miliar lebih. Setiap saya menghitung 1.000, 2.000, satu anak meninggal dunia. Setiap 2,1 detik satu anak meninggal dunia. Dan setiap hari ada 41.000 anak lebih meninggal dunia. Ini UNICEF yang bilang, Dan setiap tahun 15 juta anak meninggal dunia. Bukan orang dewasa, anak-anak. Karena kemiskinan, kurang gizi, dan kelaparan. Kesehatan. Satu hari 41.000 anak meninggal dunia lebih, dan setahun 15 juta anak meninggal dunia. Ini membuktikan bahwa benar-benar daya tampung bumi itu untuk orang hidup normal hanya 3 sampai 4 miliar, sedangkan sekarang sudah 7 miliar. Jadi teori Thomas Malthus yang 1798 benar.
It took the Earth's population 100,000 years to reach 1 billion people. And then just 100 more to reach 2 billion. And only 50 years to double again to 4 billion people in 1970. We're nearly at 8 billion now. Bartlett gives the example of a beaker with a single bacterium in it, one that divides and doubles every minute. If you place the first bacterium into the beaker at 11 o'clock, and it's completely full by 12, at what time is the beaker still only half full? 11:59. That's what time it is for us. In 40 years, 32 billion people will fight to survive. They'll fail. We're a minute to midnight. Every single global ill that plagues the earth can be traced back to human overpopulation. But serious birth control measures, they don't stand a chance. Outrageous violation of my rights, invasion of my privacy. Don't tell me what to do. And still, we keep attacking our own environment. There have been 5 major extinctions in the Earth's history. And unless we take bold, immediate action, the 6th extinction will be our own. We're a minute to midnight.
Siapakah Ya'juj dan Ma'juj sebenarnya?
Ya.
Soalan besar tu Haji. Kita sudah berbicara tentang Dajjal. Dajjal itu manusia. Adakah Ya'juj dan Ma'juj ini juga manusia? Ada yang mengatakan, Ustaz, dia jin dan jebon. Ada yang mengatakan dia super volcanoes. Ada yang mengatakan bahawa dia makhluk luar biasa sekarang di bawah tanah. Semua ini pandangan-pandangan sahaja. Ketika kita berbicara tentang Al-Quran, itu rujukan utama kita, ada 2 surah membicarakan tentangnya. Ustaz akan membaca ayat-ayat itu. Pertama surah Al-Anbiya ayat 96, keduanya surah Al-Kahfi ayat 94 dan seterusnya, membicarakan khusus tentang Ya'juj dan Ma'juj. Malah nama Ya'juj dan Ma'juj itu pun disebut dalam Quran. Ya Ustaz? Jadi kita ada rujukan. Dan ulama ketika berbicara tentang Ya'juj dan Ma'juj, mereka rata-ratanya mengatakan ini keturunan daripada Yafith bin Nuh, keturunan daripada salah seorang anak Nabi Nuh alaihi salatu wassalam. Salah seorang anak Nabi Nuh bernama Yafith bin Nuh. Artinya para ulama bersetuju, malah bersepakat bahawa jika ia keturunan anak Nabi Nuh, dia manusia, dia Bani Adam. Maka itu keputusan besar kita pada hari ini, bahawa Ya'juj dan Ma'juj merupakan 2 kelompok dari kalangan Bani Adam.
Jadi dia adalah manusia biasa.
Dia adalah manusia biasa,
Bukan raksasa.
bukan raksasa,
Bukan makhluk yang duduk di bawah tanah sebagai makhluk yang dipanggil sebagai kelompok kelompok Mun dan sebagainya. Bukan.
Ya, bukan. Manusia seperti kita, tetapi membuat kerosakan di atas muka bumi. Orang-orang Yahudi, Nasara juga tertarik tentang Ya'juj dan Ma'juj. Sebab dalam Bible ada bab Hezekiel sebagai contoh berbicara tentang Gog and Magog. Gog and Magog itu bagi kita Ya'juj dan Ma'juj. Dan mereka pun mengkaji. Sebagai contoh ada sarjana Yahudi namanya Flavius Josephus. Flavius Josephus, dia pengarang beberapa buah buku, antaranya Antiquities of the Jews, termasuk Jews Wars dan sebagainya. Dia mengkaji bab ini dan dia mengatakan Ya'juj dan Ma'juj ataupun bagi mereka Gog and Magog datang daripada satu kelompok dipanggil Scythians. Scythians, Scythians. Tadi sebut tadi bahawa mereka mungkin dari kalangan orang pertama yang mampu menjinak kuda-kuda. Ya, dia ada ciri seperti itu. Mereka daripada perburuangan, mereka disebutkan sebagai ganas dan kejam. Malah Encyclopedia Britannica mengatakan mereka satu ketika merupakan golongan yang mengganas dan paling gagah di kawasan selatan Rusia. Daripada Scythians ini lahirlah Mongols, Tatars, the Huns, dan begitulah seterusnya yang kita tahu dalam sejarah ini. Contoh Mongol yang terkenal nama seperti Genghis Khan, kemudian beberapa generasi selepas itu Kublai Khan, kemudian yang menghancurkan Baghdad pada tahun 1258 Masihi Hulagu Khan. Jadi semua itu nama-nama yang menggeronkan. Mereka ini kejam. Bayangkan bagaimana Baghdad dihancurkan, begitu dahsyat sekali. Itu dikatakan keturunan ataupun suku sakat kepada Scythians, dan itu ada berkaitan dengan Ya'juj dan Ma'juj. Ulama Islam juga mengkaji, dan antaranya contohnya Syekh Abdul Kalam Azad, ulama terkenal di India. Dia tulis buku yang bertajuk Yas'alunaka min Dzulqarnain. Dia tulis buku, kitab. Dia bersetuju dengan pandangan Flavius Josephus tadi, dan dia mengatakan tidak mustahil mereka dari kalangan yang ganas yang beliau sebutkan sebagai Sitahin. Sitahin itu Scythians. Yusuf Ali juga cenderung dengan pandangan itu. Artinya tak salah kita menerima, sebab walaupun mereka mengkaji berdasarkan golongan ahli kitab, tapi ada sedikit persamaan di beberapa sudut penemuan. Apatah lagi Gog and Magog, Ya'juj dan Ma'juj bermaksud kepada dua kelompok yang sama. Maka daripada kelompok ini, Scythians ini, lahirlah Mongols. Dan kemudian Mongols ini, saya sebutkan tadi, telah menghancurkan Baghdad. Sebab itu ada pengkaji-pengkaji Islam, sebagai contoh Syed Qutb dalam Fi Zilal Al-Quran mengatakan bagi beliau Ya'juj dan Ma'juj itu ada berkaitan dengan Mongols dan Tatars yang keluar dengan ganasnya menghancurkan bumi Islam di Iraq yang kita sebutkan tadi. Dia daripada gelangan Ya'juj dan Ma'juj, dan daripada golongan ini akhirnya lahirlah keturunan dari benih mereka. Jadi kita rumuskan sedikit. Scythians ataupun kata Syekh Abdul Kalam Azad, Sitahin, melahirkan kelompok-kelompok seperti Mongol dan Tatars, itu suku sakat mereka yang kejam dan ganas. Dan kemudian suku sakat ini melahirkan bangsa di timur. Dari kalangan Mongol, Tatars tadi, lahirlah satu bangsa di timur. Dan kemudian ada satu buku, ini menarik. Seorang dari barat nama Sharon Turner menulis sebuah buku bertajuk The History of the Anglo-Saxons. The History of the Anglo-Saxons. Dia pengkaji, menulis buku, dan dia mengatakan Scythians ada satu kelompok di sebelah timur, ada satu lagi kelompok melahirkan Anglo-Saxons. Siapa Anglo-Saxons? Golongan di Eropah. Jadi Ya'juj dan Ma'juj juga ada berkaitan dengan golongan di Eropah yang di akhir zaman akan keluar melakukan keganasan dan kekejaman kepada dunia.
Now, all the men in that tribe claim to be direct descendants of Genghis Khan. He was one of the most prolific breeders ever. There's like a study that 1 in every 200 men in the world are probably walking around carrying the genetic marker that can be traced back to him.
These are all signs of the last days. But who are these people or these beings called Gog and Magog, or Yajuj or Majuj? Mentioned in the Quran in Surah Al-Anbiya, chapter 21, and also in Surah Al-Kahf, which is chapter 18 in the Quran. These beings, these Juj or Majuj or Gog and Magog, are in fact one of the biggest of all fitnas, calamities or trials, tests that the human beings will experience in the last days. They will be everywhere. They will come from every possible end of the earth, and there will be no stopping them. This is one of the things prophesied by the Prophet Muhammad. But let us now examine what the Quran says about that. Let's take a look and let's listen to what the Quran says.
فمن يعمل من الصالحات وهو مؤمن فلا كفران لسعيه وإنا له كاتبون.
Whoever does righteous good deeds while he is a believer in monotheism, his or her efforts will not be rejected. Verily, Allah will record it for them.
وحرام على قرية أهلكناها أنهم لا يرجعون.
And a ban is laid on every town or population which Allah has destroyed, that they shall not return to this world again.
حتى إذا فتحت يأجوج ومأجوج وهم من كل حدب ينسلون.
Not until when Yajuj or Majuj, Gog and Magog, are let loose and they swoop down from every mound. And a ban is laid on every town or population which Allah has destroyed, that they shall not return to this world again. And a ban is laid on every town or population which Allah has destroyed, that they shall not return to this world again. Not until when Yajuj or Majuj, Gog and Magog, are let loose and they swoop down from every mound.
goes on to say something more about Gog and Magog. We now leave Surah Al-Kahf and we go to Surah Al-Anbiya, chapter number 21, entitled The Prophets. The 2 verses. And I was by accident directed to these verses in New York in the 8th. And as I was reading, it was as though I was struck with a light. I can't explain it. Like a revelation. I can't. An insight. What are the 2 verses? The Quran speaks of Gog and Magog in only 2 places. Only 2. You can't miss them. One is in Surah Al-Kahf, chapter 18. That we've given you. The other is in Surah Al-Anbiya. This is what Allah says. He speaks about a town. It was destroyed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The people were expelled from the town. And then the Lord placed a ban on them. They will never return to reclaim this town as their own. Never. They will come back as a tourist, that's okay. You cannot return to reclaim this town as your own. No. Until when? Until Gog and Magog were released. And after they are released, they spread out in all directions, meaning they take control of the world. And so you now have the world order of Gog and Magog. And then with their power over the world, now you see these people being brought back to that town to reclaim it. And so God and Magog are linked with the town, are linked with the special people. This is something in addition to the Arabs. Gog and Magog like to attack the Arabs, humiliate the Arabs, with sexual perversions in the prisons of Iraq by people who dare to call themselves civilized. And now we'll say this was just an aberration. Which town is this that is linked to God? This is something absolutely new to a Christian. I think so. Because the material which is available to the Christian, the Jew, does not have this information. If I'm wrong, I will correct. Which town is it? Destroyed by the Lord. The people expelled. A ban placed on them that they can never return to reclaim that town as their own until Gog and Magog are released. And after they are released, they spread out in all directions. Remember, they're being released in waves then. And when they spread out in all directions with their indestructible power, they take control of the world in the world order of Gog and Magog. Then you will see these people being brought back to reclaim that town. This book has dealt with that subject in detail. As I read these 2 verses of the Quran 10 years ago, like a flash came to me, an intuitive grasp. Wait a minute. This is Jerusalem. This is the Holy Land. This is the Jews. But that was only an intuitive insight. I had to go on now to do my homework. You can't open intuitive insight. Use a chemical. It is Jerusalem. Let us go to all ongoing around called ahadith. So I collected all the ahadith, almost all. Now let me go through them and see whether there is any mention linked with God and Allah, which fits the description given in the Quran. So I went through all of this hadith, and to my amazement, there is only one term mentioned, only one. And it is a term which fits the description. And it is Jerusalem. Yes. But in the hadith, of course, the word Jerusalem is not the Arabic word, it's Terungkap, which is Jerusalem. And so I came to the conclusion that the town is Jerusalem. And so the Quran was saying that when you see the Jews being brought back to the Holy Land, to Jerusalem, to reclaim it as their own, 2,000 years after the Lord had expelled them out, you must know that this was made possible because of the world order of God and mankind.
يا ذا القرنين إن يأجوج ومأجوج مفسدون في الأرض. O Dzulqarnain, surely Gog and Magog are committing fasad in the land. What is fasad? Fasad is conduct which is evil in nature, which corrupts. And corrupts in such an extent that it destroys. That's fasad. So who can commit fasad? There are only three beings that Allah created. He created human beings, He created angels, and He created jinn. Angels do not commit sin. So Gog and Magog can't be angels. Can a jinn commit sin? Yes, a jinn can disobey Allah. So Gog and Magog can either be jinn or human beings. Nothing else. Nothing else. It can't be some creature with 5 dozen ears and 10 dozen noses. Huh? Where has sense gone? I have to raise my voice in utter frustration because some people have just lost their capacity to think. And no matter how much you try to teach them, they remain where they are. So kindly forgive me, because I've been teaching this subject for more than 20 years now. And my frustration is terrible. So Gog and Magog have to be either human beings or jinn. Which one? Nothing else in Allah's creation can commit fasad. Human beings live on the earth. You know any human being living 1 mile underneath the earth? Crawling like ants underneath the earth? That's where human beings live. Where has sense gone? Human beings live on the earth. So they ask Dzulqarnain, can you help us? Can you protect us from Gog and Magog? Can you build a barrier in this pass between the mountainside? Because Gog and Magog are on the other side of the mountain. And if you can build this barrier, then we will be protected from them. That's strange. If Dzulqarnain has power and he has declared to Allah that whosoever is wicked in their conduct, I'll punish them. Well, how come he's not prepared to punish these people? Gog and Magog. Why does he respond and agree to build the barrier? Answer: because they're too powerful for him. Because Nabi Muhammad ﷺ said, it's a Hadith al-Qudsi. You know what is Hadith al-Qudsi, don't you? If you don't know Akshiraz, you know your Imam, Alhamdulillah. That Allah declared and said about Gog and Magog, I have created creatures of mine so powerful that none but I can destroy them. So even Dzulqarnain cannot destroy them. This barrier which has been built is rahmah from my Rabb, from my Lord God. They could neither penetrate the barrier nor could they go over the barrier. So we have to eliminate jinn. Why? Because the jinn could fly to the sky. So Gog and Magog cannot be angels, and Gog and Magog cannot be jinn. Therefore Gog and Magog have to be human beings. They have to be human beings. Human beings who live on the earth, not underneath the earth, 5 miles underneath the earth. Only a dum-dum will hold that view. You'll be surprised. Go and research and you see what kind of nonsense people believe in. Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam said about Gog and Magog that Gog is an ummah of Banu Adam and Magog is an ummah of Banu Adam, so human beings. And he says none of them dies without leaving 1,000 more behind. I will be happy. I will be happy if I can leave 5 more behind. 5 to continue the work. 5. But none of them dies without leaving 1,000 more behind. When you look at the modern cellular phone and the smartphone, you can know how they make this 1,000. Here is the Holy Land over here, and the Sea of Galilee is somewhere here, and Jerusalem is somewhere here. There's Jerusalem. So if the Sea of Galilee is to the north of Jerusalem, they have to be coming down this way. If they're going to pass by the Sea of Galilee to reach to Jerusalem. So Gog and Magog are coming from this direction, coming down. This is the Mediterranean Sea here. And the visibility is excellent. But to the left of this land is another body of water, and the visibility is so bad that it is called the Black Sea. So you don't need a PhD to know that Allah is talking about the Black Sea when he says Ainun Hamiyah. So when Dzulqarnain traveled in the direction of the setting of the sun, he was going this way to the Black Sea. Couldn't be the Mediterranean Sea, it had to be the Black Sea. And when he traveled in the direction of the rising of the sun, he goes to the other end of the land. It has to be the Caspian Sea. So between here and here, there should be mountains. Are there mountains between here and there? Yes. What are they called? The Caucasus Mountains. And they start from here and they go to here. And between this mass of mountains, there is only one pass. Let's go. Here we are. There are the mountains. See? There are the mountains. And this is where Dzulqarnain went, in the direction of the setting of the sun. And this is where he came, the direction of the rising of the sun. And between this are the Caucasus Mountains. Whole range of mountains. You see the brown color? Do you see the brown color? That's mountains. Good, next one. Here we are. This is the one pass. One. Between the mountains. This is, it's called Darial Pass. And when Russia was taken over by the Soviet Union, the Soviet Union built a military highway. This photograph was taken before that military highway was built. They built a military highway through this pass, okay? from one side of the mountain to the other side, which means, Sharad, I'm sure you'll agree, the barrier gone. Huh? The barrier gone. Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam is asleep at the home of his wife Zainab radiyallahu ta'ala anha, and he has a vision. He sees something and he wakes up from his sleep and his face is flushed red. Whatever he saw was so terrible, and he woke up to declare, Wailul lil Arab, woe unto the Arabs, min sharrin qad iktaraba, because of a great evil which is now close. When he raised his hands like this, and he said, today a hole has been made in the barrier of Dzulqarnain. So Gog and Magog are now being released in the lifetime of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And when they are released, that's bad news for the whole world. But that is worse news for the Arabs, because Gog and Magog are going to attack the Arabs more than everybody else. She asked, who? Zainab radiallahu anha, Anuhlaku wa fina salihun, will we be destroyed, we Arabs, even though there are righteous people amongst us? Will we be destroyed? Hadith is Sahih Bukhari. He said, nah, yes, the Arabs are going to be destroyed. When? Either kathur al-khabas, when rubbish prevails. And the first place and the most important place you look for rubbish is not in Parliament. No, not in the market. No. The people who are supposed to maintain a society, to be the guides of a society, of a community, to protect the community from going into the garbage bin, are the scholars, the ulama. So when the ulama fail, when the ulama have a status as garbage, rubbish, at that time you will see the Arabs being destroyed, either kathur al-khabas.
الذين يعملون مع السلطة يجب أن نقاتلهم جميعا، عسكريين، مدنيين، علماء، جاهلين.
والله العظيم لنسلمنهم بمفارم اللحم ونطعم الطعام لحمهم للكلاب. إنني أنادي الجميع هنا إلى أن ينضموا إلى الجيش السوري الحر، وها هم ولله الحمد عقد وعمد ورتب كبيرة عسكرية ينضمون إلى الجهاد في سبيل الله. إنني أنادي كل حر في سوريا إلى أن يخرج على هذا النظام الفاجر. معكم وأموالنا معكم وسلاحنا بإذن الله سوف يكون قريبا معكم.
Dzulqarnain, God and Magog are acting in such a way, they are corrupting our society in such a way they're destroying us. Can you help us? Can you build a barrier between us and then we prepare to pay you? Strange, isn't it? If Allah has given to Dzulqarnain power, and it is the power with which he can pursue whichever goal he chooses to pursue. But then why does Dzulqarnain not go in and simply destroy everybody? Teach them the lesson of their life. Why build a barrier? Dzulqarnain should say to them, I don't need you to build any barrier, I'll just never from you anymore. But Dzulqarnain agrees to build the barrier. Right? He says, I don't need your wealth, but you have to offer. The same way that Solomon had said the same thing to Sheba. He said, provide me with manpower, bring me blocks of iron. And then he built a barrier to block this pass between the two mountain ranges. And after he built the barrier with blocks of iron, remember, iron, no bamboo, no recycled paper, iron. He then said, blow with your bellows, making a furnace. And then he said, bring me the molten copper, which he then poured on the barrier, the wall. The engineers tell me that this would be very rust. Having built the barrier, now Gog and Magog, who are human beings. The Blessed Prophet Muhammad said, alayhi salatu wasalam, that Ya'juj is an ummah of Nuh. Gog is a community coming from Adam. So too, Magog, human beings like you and I. They could neither penetrate the barrier, nor could they scale the barrier. And then Dzulqarnain said, listen to his words. هذا رحمة من ربي. This barrier is a blessing, an act of kindness from my Lord. فإذا جاء وعد ربي, when that time comes, of which my Lord has warned, namely, that time when the last age will commence, and when divine punishment will commence, and when the Lord will release into the world the Antichrist, which was our topic for last month. When the Antichrist is released and Qiyamah commences, the last age commences, divine punishment begins. Then, at that time, He, the Lord, will bring down the consequence of and from God will be released. وكان وعد ربي حقا. And the warning of my Lord us. وتركنا بعدهم يومئذ يموج فيها. But they could not all be released at the same time. No. Some of them will take care of the American Indians. And some of them will take the black man out of Africa and put him in chains and take him across the sea, and the bones of the black man will be the bridge under the sea. And then take him across the ocean and use him as a slave. Never say sorry. Never say sorry. No, they'll not all be released at the same time. Because at another time, all will be released, and there will be no Pharisee or hate, a black Christian priest who tries to bring justice to the poor of Haiti. But because the black man in Haiti slapped them on their face 200 years ago, will never be forgiven. We punish him. We punish Haiti pitilessly. And so they're not all released at the same time. Rather, they're released in waves, one after the other. And as they are released in waves, وَضَرَبْنَا بعدهم يومئذ يموج فيها. وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ. The trumpet is sounding. But only those who have ears to hear can hear it. فَجَمَعْنَاهُمْ جَمَعًا. And then all the barriers which separated people separating as nations and as tribes for thousands of years, speaking different languages, living in different times. All these barriers are now swept away. And all of mankind are brought together in one global society. And it would be the global society. What happens when the wall comes down and Gog and Magog are released? Here are a people who have PhDs in wickedness, in corruption, in oppression, in injustice, and who are going to function as the right hand and the left hand of the job. And so they will also have a PhD in deception. They tell lies upon lies upon lies. But in addition to this, the prophet said that Allah said, Hadith al-Qudsi, listen to his words. I have created creatures of mine so powerful that none but I can destroy them. You want to wage jihad against them, they'll beat you. The Prophet said that Allah said, it is a hadith al-Qudsi, that on the last day after we have been resurrected, and then the judgment is to take place, that Allah will say to our father Adam, take out or separate those for the hellfire. It's a strange statement. Strange. We need to digest it. Our father Adam will then ask, how many are they, O Allah, for the hellfire? To which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will respond. I don't think they'll publish this in the Express. Allah will respond and say, out of every 1,000, take 999 for the hellfire. The companions of the Blessed Prophet were terrified, because in those days they had the fear of Allah in the heart. Today we got it. They were terrified. Then he smiled. That beautiful smile which can come on the lips only when there is innocence in the heart. And he said, good news for you, meaning those who follow me, Muhammad, meaning those who follow the religion of my father Abraham. Yeah, good news for you. The one for heaven is the one who follows the religion of Abraham. Alayhi salam. But the 999, meaning the global society, embraced by globalization. And so South Africa shouldn't be so happy about getting the World Cup, because it's part of the march of globalization. Nelson Mandela doesn't understand that. I think Winnie Mandela would understand it. The 999 would all be the people of God and Magog. But the Prophet said, Allah's blessing be upon me, that when Gog and Magog are released, the major target would be the Arabs. He said, Wailul lil Arab, woe unto the Arabs, min sharrin qad iqtaraba, because of a great evil which will now come upon them. He was asleep at the home of his wife, Zainab. And in his sleep he saw something, like you see sometimes when you are asleep. And when he woke up, his face was flushed red. It must have been very, very, very terrible. And then he uttered these words, woe unto the Arabs, because of a great evil which will now come upon them. And then he raised his hands and he made a hole. This is only a symbol. This is not the size of the hole, it's a symbol. He said, today, a hole has been made in that barrier built by Dzulqarnain. And so the release of Gog and Magog took place, or rather commenced, That would be the proper word, commenced in the lifetime of Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Woe unto the Arabs! Min sharrin qad iqtaraba, because of a great evil which will now come upon them. And when they are released, it is the Arab who will bear the brunt of the attack. And this is why we have seen the humiliation inflicted upon us after they attacked the Twin Towers in New York on September 11th, and then put the blame on us. And then they beheaded America. Some men with masks, so you don't know who they are. And they beheaded America. And now the blame, of course, is on us. And then tomorrow, they will have a big act of terrorism in this country. Yes, I can see it coming. And when that major act of terrorism takes place in this country, you should see the newspapers and television and radio gleefully joining in that crusade to pin the blame on Muslims and on Islam. All so they can silence. And when power rests on foundations which are essentially godless, that world order will not show respect for people who live the primitive way of life. No. They will be hunted down like cockroaches and exterminated like cockroaches by a people who wield power which cannot be destroyed by anybody, and who will then put on their nice clothes Sunday morning and go to church. When the Son of Mary comes down, when the Son of Mary, the true Messiah, kills the false Messiah, after the false Messiah is killed, then Allah addresses the true Messiah and says to him, "Go up the mountain," which is the mountain in Jerusalem. The last wave of Gog and Magog are now released. And they surround the true Messiah, the Son of Mary. They shoot their arrows up into the sky. This is symbolic language. Don't ask me to explain it because I can't. But there is a young scholar of Islam who will come, maybe he's a baby now. 30 years from today, he'll come and explain it to you, inshallah. They shoot their arrows up into the sky. They say, we've killed those who are on earth. Now let us kill those who are in the heavens above. Gog and Magog. And Allah allows the arrows to come back down with blood on them. Don't ask me to explain this because I can't. Events are going to unfold tomorrow which will help us to understand this. Then the son of Mary raises his hands and he prays to the Lord to destroy them. Gog and Magog. And then Allah sends a little creature, a little insect, which attacks them at the back of their head. And all those who are Gog and Magog will all fall down. The rest of mankind, not only Gog and Magog. They'll all fall down, paralyzed, and by next morning they'll be all dead.
And now it's time for me to wrap up with, of course, the most important hadith of all. Before that, we can mention that Gog and Magog are thirsty. They'll drink up all the water of the world. They will pass by a river and drink it dry, said Nabi Muhammad. They will drink the whole of the Sea of Galilee, make it dry. So when you see the water level going down, down around the world. Yesterday this was a river in Santa Cruz and you could jump from the bridge and dive into the water. Today if you dive you're going to break your head. You might have no water left. That's Santa Cruz. That's Santa Cruz. The Great Lakes of Canada. And now they have to have new routes for the ships to navigate. Why? Because the level of water is going down so much that you have to have a new route to navigate. The Great Lakes of Canada. Many rivers and many lakes in the world are drying up today. A sign that we are living in the age of Gog and Magog. The Sea of Galilee. When the Sea of Galilee is dry, no more water, we know that Nabi Isa would already have come into the world. What is the water level now? I'm not going to tell you. You're going to do the research and check it out. What is the water level in the Sea of Galilee now? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to Adam alayhi salam. And he said, this is Sahih Bukhari. Repeated 4 times in Sahih Bukhari. He says to Adam alayhi salam, take out or separate the people for Jahannam. Adam alayhi salam asks, how many are they? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replies and says, out of every 1,000, take 999 for Jahannam. The companions of the Prophet ﷺ were terrified when they heard it. He smiled. He said, good news for you. The one for Jannah will be from you. Meaning, if people will faithfully follow the true religion. But then he went on to say that the 999 will all belong to the Jamaat of Gog and Magog. Ahlu Yajuj wa Majuj. So it doesn't matter whether you're Muslim, or you're Christian, or you're Jew, or you're Hindu, or you're Nuwarian. You all belong to one Jamaat. The Jamaat of Gog and Magog. And you live essentially one way of life. One way of life. And that one way of life will take you all into the hellfire. The only one will survive